Hello, I'm Marcus. Namaste. Now there's a word, and a lot of people use it nowadays, especially spiritual people. Namaste. What's it mean? It means I bow to the divine in you. So normally we bow when we say that. We're just accepting that everyone has divine in them. Everybody. And that's something to do with actually what we're going to talk about today on this YouTube channel. And we're going to talk a little bit about Ascension. Now I've come across Ascension a couple of years ago, like a lot of people, when it was all over the website about what was going to happen and how everyone's going to ascend. A third of the world's population, I think it was, going to ascend on a certain day. And things did change, there's no question. Everybody, especially people who are interested in change, started to feel, or even if they didn't feel it, they were getting downloads from spiritual light coming down into us. And for those like myself who were sensitive to these sort of spiritual feelings, we became aware that something's happening, something's changing. Even though I didn't really believe a third of the world was going to float up and ascend to the fifth dimension, I did understand that something was changing. And funnily enough, in 1995 I did a talk for the Theosophical Lodge in Wallasey, and in that talk I actually said this was going to happen. I didn't realise what I was saying at the time, to be honest. I knew I was talking about people changing from material first to spiritual first. And that is really important that we do that, because we were created to do that. And now we've started doing it, finally. And maybe we've tried it before and failed. I know people might say Atlantis was a typical example of that, where we tried and failed. And usually the failings become through us, not because of demons or other beings of darkness, or because we became dark. We turned away from the light. And we're not going to do that anymore. Some of us might. Majority of us like the light. We are like moths, attracted to the light. You know, and it's just a normal, natural thing for us. Most people would rather do good things than not good things. It's a natural thing. The feeling of helping somebody, to give money to somebody with nothing, to put things in a food bank, to, you know, just to help the planet, to help creatures, to see an animal at the side of the road that you need to help, even if it means killing it, which is really hard to do for a veggie like me. These things are a proof of ascension, that we're thinking of the greater good. And that's one of the biggest things about ascension, is that we're becoming aware of everything we do is affecting everything else. And therefore we must do the right things for us, for our family, for our friends, for our country, for the world, and more importantly really for the planet. The planet, Mother Earth as we call her, Gaia, is ascending. In fact, it's already ascended, really. We're the ones that are being left behind here because, you know, we're a bit stuck in our rut of, you know, me, and what's important to me, you know, what's the most important thing, how can I become more strong, powerful, rich, instead of thinking of the greater good. How can mankind survive? How can the planet keep its drinking water? How can we help those with nothing have something, have some food every day? These are the things that people are starting to become more aware of now. And not just old hippies like me, but more ordinary people who, you know, I think the media's got a lot to do with it, because as much as I don't like using Facebook, I don't agree with the philosophy behind Facebook, but it definitely has a use in helping people understand things. So many people see things on Facebook, incredible, beautiful things about amazing people. Bring tears to my eyes, some of them, I have to say. And this is all part and parcel of what's happening. Nothing happens by chance. So if you think, oh, it's coincidence, you know, it's like thinking about the one-celled creature creating us. You know, I mean, the more you think about it, the more far-fetched it is. I'm a firm believer in the opposite, that we were created to be who we are, so that we can hold these souls of mankind and evolve to become the spiritual being we're becoming. And Ascension is doing that. So you might have seen my previous video where I'm discussing this, and in case I didn't mention it, don't forget, have a look on my website, www.wayitis.net. Some interesting stuff on there for those that aren't aware of Ascension, and even for those that are. You know, I get told things that I put out there, and as I said earlier, you know, everything I do, I try and do simple things, easy to understand, easy to do, practices that you can do easily without a lot of intelligence or a lot of head use, but a lot of heart use, opening your heart. Most people are blocked, usually here, if they're already open their heart, but mostly here. Life can be difficult. It's alright for me, I was very lucky, although we didn't have a lot of physical things in life, my sister and I had lots and lots and lots and lots of love. That has held me to be who I am today. So I'm very, very lucky. Not everyone is that lucky. Some people come into this life, they don't have a lot of love, they don't have a lot of people that care for them. They have to fend for themselves and become who they become because of that. And really, you know, it's difficult not to make judgments on this, but the way I see things, right or wrongly, it's the way I see it. We come into this life, I believe in reincarnation. So, the last life, we lived a life, we did certain things, we took those emotions and whatever else it was back to the divine, the creator of all things, the ultimate being, the source, and we took those things back there, and then we came back here and had another go. The reason we had another go is we haven't quite perfected living life yet. So we have to become this being, which is the one I was talking about earlier, selfless. One that only thinks about unconditional love. One that thinks about the whole, the greater good, creativity of everything that is good on the world, for people. So that's what we've been aiming at for a long, long time. And we're getting there. It just doesn't take a few days, it takes a bit of time. But I think this is the time now that we've been given to do this. For most of us, we're going to move upwards and onwards. I said that in my workshop actually recently. Onwards and upwards, you know, a bit of a saying there. Onwards and upwards, let's keep going forwards. There's times when we get brought back because of life, but you have to just keep going. So keep what's important in mind and strive for that. Open heart, open mind is very important. So what's coming up for us is to try and open up to become more aware of our higher self. Our higher self somewhere up here. Our higher self obviously being up here, closer to heaven, whichever way you want to look at it, up here. Our higher self is closer to the creative source than we are. And what we want to do, what Ascension's about, is lifting our consciousness through these levels, what people call chakras, going up through here, through the third eye, through the crown, up to here, and moving our consciousness up to these levels. And this is what Ascension's about in a few words. Simple, or as I like to say, simple. I know I got that off a telly somewhere. But I have to say, it is simple. You know, it's just that easy. And it's about raising your vibration. So, as you become more aware, you become more open, you become more caring, you become all the things I talked about earlier, and have a look on the website. You know, as that happens for you, you naturally become higher in consciousness. The caveat though is, or the problem is, that we have to go through these levels. And most of us as human beings, if you haven't started on this journey, you're probably stuck here in your heart. And as I said earlier, a lot of people haven't had easy lives. They haven't had a lot of love or care or whatever, and they find it really hard to open the heart because of protection. You know, you see most people, they're like this. You go like this. Why? Because they're being hurt. You know, they're protecting themselves, they don't want to be hurt again. We've all been through things in life where our hearts are being hurt. Everybody, I'm sure. So we need to try and move on from that now and do this. Good enough. Look, open your heart. You open this out. Come on, come, I'm here. I'm ready. I've got my heart open. I trust that you're not going to do anything bad because Namaste. I see the divine in you. The more you have faith and trust, I know it's not easy when you've been hurt and let down and backstabbed, but the more we can have faith, the more open you are to faith as you start rising up, the more things will start changing for you. The more you see the light at the end of the tunnel, the more you see the fact that you're changing for the better and the good things are going to come of it, the easier things get. And it's not about, oh, I'll win the pools if I do this. Nothing to do with it. Oh, pools, that's an old-fashioned thing, isn't it now? It's not about winning the lotto. It's about being happy every day with what you've got. Okay? Being happy because you've got a beautiful young child. You've got a beautiful old child. You've got an incredibly beautiful wife. You've got a lovely mummy and daddy. You know, whatever it is, be grateful for it. Don't just think about, oh, I haven't got any money, I can't afford another packet of fags, I can't go to the bingo. You know, be grateful for what you've got. You look at some parts of the world and they got nothing, and look at them, they're smiling all day. They're like that. Happy all day. Because they know every minute they could be dead. Every second that comes, they know they could be dead tomorrow. We think we're going to live forever. Of course we're not. Be grateful every minute, every second. I say this to people, they think I'm mad or they think I'm joking, but I've got a little sign from the Dalai Lama. It's on my website, a little saying with the Dalai Lama. And even before that, I used to say this. When people said, how are you today? I'd say, oh, I'm really happy because I woke up breathing. I did, I woke up breathing again this morning. Oh, great. So I take the first breath. Oh, I'm alive. If you're alive, you can do anything. If you're alive, there's nothing you can't do. You have a mind. You can create. You can make things happen. Like I say, start here. Open your heart. Sounds like a Scouse accent, I don't know. Open your heart. I am Scouse. Open your heart. Let the light in. Rise up to where you can be. Ascend. Thank you for listening if you've listened. Thank you for watching if you've watched. Namaste.